This is Emirates News with Katie Jensen.
Good evening and welcome to Emirates News. We're coming to you from Dubai. Your news, business and sport are on the way. But first, the headlines tonight. The Vice President reshuffles the boards of Dubai Racing Club and Dubai Equestrian Club. The UAE gets ready to celebrate Emirati Women's Day and their active role in the country's historic achievements.
I'm Greg Fairley. In the business tonight, UAE consumer prices dropped 2.36% year on year, providing a measure of changes in prices over time paid by UAE households for a fixed basket of goods and services.
And I'm Graham Clues, and in the sport tonight, Real Madrid striker Karim Benzema receives an award of thanks from the Dubai Sports Council. The French forward was honoured for his participation in the UAE's Stay at Home and Stay Fit campaign earlier in the year.
His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President, Prime Minister and ruler of Dubai, today issued two decrees. The first one reshuffles the board of directors of the Dubai Racing Club, and the second restructures the board of directors of the Dubai Equestrian Club. The two decisions are effective from the date of issuance and will be published in the official gazette. Emirati women are being celebrated for their active role in the country's historic advancement. Emirati Women's Day, which will take place tomorrow, recognises individuals who have overcome traditional obstacles to become pioneers in various fields. They're preparing for the next 50 years of success. Amal Al-Jabri reports.
Emirati Women's Day, an occasion celebrated on August 28 every year, was first announced on 15th August 2015. It's a significant date marking the anniversary of the foundation of the UAE's General Women's Union back in 1975. The nation's leadership has been praised for their efforts in enabling women to break down barriers and play an integral part in shaping the future of the nation. This year, Emirati Women's Day is being held under the theme, Preparing for the Next 50 Years. Women are the support of the nation. The slogan is in line with the nationwide strategy unveiled last year that 2020 will be the year of preparations for the country's Golden Jubilee next year. Emirati women have been known to play an active role in society. They hold some of the highest political, executive, legislative and senior leadership positions related to strategy and decision-making. In fact, they make up 1/3 of the cabinet members and half the members of the Federal National Council. They also fill up around 2/3 of all public sector posts, with close to 30% in senior and decision-making positions. The World Economic Forum says in every region of the world, discriminatory laws still prevent women from fulfilling their potential, undermining their economic security by limiting their ability to work and pursue a career. However, that's not the case with the UAE, as WEF ranks the country as a leader in gender equality in the region, with Emirati women having a prominent presence as they've taken the lead in getting involved in various Arab and Gulf initiatives. This highlights the UAE's growing interest in women across all fronts, advancing the recognition of women in the UAE and underlining their essential role in the community. Emirati Women's Day will continue to exhibit the amplified female empowerment in the country. Amal Al-Jabri, Emirates News.
Sharjah's relief drive Salam Beirut has begun rebuilding around 500 homes that were destroyed in the Beirut explosion earlier this month. Officials say that thanks to the campaign, in the next 6 months, close to 3,000 blast victims will be able to return to their homes. The initiative is led by the Sharjah-based global humanitarian organisation, the Big Heart Foundation, who says they've also partnered up with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees to commence work on the Stand with Lebanon programme. Through this initiative, repairs will commence on an additional 355 damaged houses in the Lebanese capital. The UAE today announced 491 new cases of COVID-19. This brings the total number of cases in the country to more than 68,000. The Ministry of Health and Prevention also announced 402 new recoveries, bringing the total to just below 60,000. No new fatalities linked to the virus have been reported over the past 24 hours, keeping the death toll in the UAE at 378. Abu Dhabi's home isolation program continues to assist people who've been infected with the coronavirus. The initiative is being supervised by the Abu Dhabi Department of Health and the Abu Dhabi Public Health Centre. They say the service allows COVID-19 patients to safely recover in accordance with recommended health protocols. Through the program, the patients are also provided with basic healthcare supplies, as well as high-quality services from partners, including daily meals, laundry services, waste management and home checkups. Patients are also in constant communication with healthcare providers to seek advice or ask queries. Schools across the UAE will be required to cut their capacity or close their doors if there is a sudden increase in COVID-19 cases across the country. The Ministry of Education has issued new guidelines overnight to ensure that both students and staff can return safely. If cases rise moderately, schools will be required to reduce their capacity and allow only children of frontline workers or those with no childcare options to attend classes in person. But schools will be required to stop face-to-face learning entirely and return to classes online if authorities announce there is an extreme risk to safety. If the country records 36 cases per 100,000 people in 7 days, roughly 515 new cases a day, it means that schools will be forced to temporarily close. Officials say there must be a maximum of 15 pupils per classroom, with plastic barriers installed in areas where social distancing is difficult. As schools get ready to welcome students from next week, parents across the UAE are being urged to equip their children with personal protective kits that include face masks, hand sanitizers and gloves. The Ministry of Education says these safety requirements are important for students as it will help curb the spread of COVID-19. The ministry has already put into motion a set of protocols to create a safe and healthy environment for the UAE's education sector as it enters a new academic year in a post-COVID-19 world. The world's leading security, safety and fire protection trade fair, Intersec, will take place, but not until next year. The coronavirus pandemic forced the suspension of the event this year, but the 23rd edition will take place from the 24th to the 26th of January next year at the Dubai World Trade Center. Organisers Messe Frankfurt Middle East have promised to provide a safe and vital environment to reconnect and restart business. The event will adopt a new hybrid format, meaning that visitors and exhibitors can participate physically or virtually. Another major event, the World Economic Forum, will reschedule its annual meeting in Davos to early next summer to mitigate safety concerns around the health pandemic. The 5th annual World Economic Forum was held in the Swiss Alps resort town in January this year, and the following event was due in the same month next year. But the decision to postpone the annual event was announced late last night. A new date and location for the rescheduled meeting is yet to be announced. Meanwhile, a Davos Dialogues digital convention will be held during the week of January 25, where key global leaders will share their views on the state of the world in 2021. Back here in the UAE, the cost of filling up at petrol pumps across the country will remain the same for this month and next, with prices held at the same rate now for 6 months. While global oil prices have fluctuated, the full fuel price committee has frozen prices since April. This means that a litre of super in September will cost you 1.91 dirhams. A litre of special is 1.8 dirhams and a litre of diesel will be 2.06 dirhams. Global oil prices fell dramatically with the onset of the coronavirus pandemic as demand slumped. Staying with COVID-19 and looking at global numbers, there are more than 24.2 million people infected with the virus around the world. The death toll has now crossed 826,000. That's the latest from Johns Hopkins University. The US has the highest number of infections with more than 5.8 million cases and a death toll that's approaching 180,000. Brazil is next with more than 3.7 million cases and over 117,000 fatalities. India now has more than 3.3 million infections and more than 60,000 deaths. Russia is expected to approach 1 million cases by this weekend, but currently has 972,000 infections and close to 17,000 deaths. And South Africa is the fifth worst affected country globally, with more than 615,000 cases and more than 13,000 deaths. Dubai Police has introduced a global police indicators platform for international liaisons officers around the world. The platform aims to compare performances and share best practices between police agencies. It will also publish a global police and competitiveness report, which will be launched at the World Police Summit in 2022 in Dubai. It is hoped the platform will better enhance the future of security and improve global safety. Staying with police news, and security cameras will now be used to document the activities of Dubai police officers. The decision allows officers to use cameras in public areas while handling traffic and safety violations and while performing other duties. They are required to maintain the confidentiality of the footage and are prohibited from transferring, storing or publishing anything without the written consent of the relevant authorities. The latest initiative is aimed at strengthening the public's confidence in our police force and also ensuring transparency and accountability. Dubai's plans to become a bicycle and pedestrian-friendly city have been reviewed by senior officials. High-ranking representative of the Roads and Transport Authority and Dubai Police have conducted an inspection tour of several cycling tracks and pedestrian crossing projects in the Emirates. Around 425 kilometres of cycling tracks have already been laid out in Dubai, and that could extend to 647 kilometres by 2025. Meanwhile, the number of footbridges constructed in Dubai has soared from 13 bridges in 2006 to 116 this year. And the RTA plans to build another 34 bridges during 2021 to 2026. New regulations, safety measures and facilities are being developed as part of a plan to transform Dubai into a bike-friendly city. Staying with transport, and if you're heading towards the DIFC this weekend, you'll need to avoid the bridge on Al Mustabak Street as it's closed for 3 days. The RTA announced via Twitter today that Al Mustabak Bridge will be closed in both directions from 7 a.m. this morning until late Saturday. Motorists have been advised to use the World Trade Center roundabout and the 2nd Zabil Street intersection with Al Mustabak instead. Al Khaimah Police today announced a 50% discount on traffic fines that were accumulated in 2019 and earlier. The 1-month initiative also includes the cancellation of vehicle impoundments, but excludes traffic fines for dangerous driving offences. Officials say that drivers will need to make the payment online via the Ministry of Interior's Smart app to take advantage of the discount. It's time now for a short break, but do stay with us here on Emirates News. Greg Fairley is here with the Business Next.
Thanks, Katie. UAE consumer prices dropped 2.36% year on year, providing a measure of changes in prices over time, paid by UAE households for a fixed basket of goods and services. That story and more coming up when we return.
Welcome back to Emirates News. Our top story tonight. The Vice President has reshuffled the boards of Dubai Racing Club and Dubai Equestrian Club. And now it's time for the business with Greg Fairley.
On the occasion of Emirati Women's Day tomorrow, many of the UAE's ministries, organisations and businesses have voiced their support. The Minister of State for Financial Affairs, His Excellency Obaid bin Humaid Al Taya, says that since the founding of the Union, the role of women in the UAE has seen nothing but progress and excellence. Emirati women have flourished and attained excellence in all sectors, be it scientific, political, economic and societal. Reem bin Karam, the director of NAMA Women Advancement Establishment, says that they are committed to advancing women's participation in the economy and enabling them to become key influencers in society and economy. Prices paid by UAE households for a fixed basket of goods and services from June 2019 through until June 2020 declined by 2.36%. That's according to figures released by the Federal Competitiveness and Statistics Authority. The lower CPI was driven by a decrease in the prices of 6 divisions last month, which represent around 67% of the total CPI weight when compared to June 2020. Abu Dhabi-based tech accelerator Hub 71 has announced a partnership with Silicon Valley-based Tech Wadi, a non-profit organisation building connections and partnerships for entrepreneurs and investors across Silicon Valley and the MENA region. The programme will enable cross-border knowledge and sharing, investment deal flow and market access. Tech Wadi network mentors come from giants like Apple, Facebook, Google and Salesforce. TikTok continues to grow its market share here in the region, despite some global controversy around the platform at the moment. One Dubai-based consultancy says GCC brands have yet to capitalise on the platform's popularity with a new breed of influencers. Many SMEs in the UAE are eager to know how TikTok can help promote their business and brand trapping into the growing market share of social media. Earlier, I asked Anna Vizio's Faris Gnaim to explain how business here in the UAE can benefit.
I think, first of all, watch and listen, see what's happening on there and see how that can fit with your brand or your offer. Give some real thought to who you want to target as well, and do your research in terms of who's on TikTok in your markets. Take a wait and see approach with all the controversy at the moment. I think that's probably sound advice. I don't think anyone would want to jump in a big way right now because we don't know what's going to happen in 30, 60, 90 days with the platform. But get yourself ready and be prepared to do things a little bit differently from what you may have done before. And if you work with influencers or content creators, you need to give up a little bit of control. I know brands don't like to do that because they worry about their image and everything. And yet you do need to set some parameters. But at the same time, you have to allow the content creators to be creative and to do things in their own style, because that's what they're known for. That's why they're popular. That's why their fans follow them.
Germany's delivery hero has agreed to buy Dubai-based online grocery marketplace Intershop for an initial $270 million as it branches out of online takeaway meals into new services. Intershop launched back in 2015. It operates in the GCC, Egypt and Lebanon and has annualized gross merchandise volume of $300 million. Depending on future growth and profitability, the deal could value Intershop at $360 million. And that is your business tonight, keeping you up to date. Have a great weekend, everyone. Now back to Katie.
Thanks, Greg. More Indian repatriation flights from the UAE have opened up from today. The Consular General of India in Dubai made the announcement over Twitter, saying that passengers can begin booking for Phase 6 of Vande Bharat mission on Air India Express. Officials say that Indian citizens will have a choice to fly to 18 destinations throughout September. Staying with travel, and Emirates airline is set to resume flights to Bangkok from the 1st of September. The resumption of passenger services will see daily flights to the Thai capital. Officials say that travellers arriving into Bangkok are subject to entry requirements set by the Thai authorities. Meanwhile, with a new destination, Emirates' current network will expand to 78 cities from September. Etihad Airways has begun its test flights for Boeing's Eco Demonstrator program, a scheme which aims to create a more sustainable way of flying. In partnership with the US aircraft manufacturer and NASA, the UAE's national airline is trialling technology that could help reduce aircraft noise and cut emissions in the future. Etihad's new 787-10 Dreamliner is due to be delivered to Abu Dhabi by the end of September. But before that happens, the jet will make a series of test flights to gather information on several technologies. The results will be shared with aviation industry leaders as a means to help improve airspace efficiency, reduce fuel use, lower noise for the community and cut flight emissions. You're watching Emirates News. It's time now for a break. But when we come back, Graham Clues is here with the sport. And Graham, they have announced Team Emirates for the Tour de France.
They have indeed, yes. Obviously much later than it was planned to be a normal summer Tour de France. Like all these sports events, they've moved. But Team Emirates announced their 8-man squad. Looking forward to it.
Fantastic.
So, coming up in the sport, Team UAE Emirates Cycling reveal their 8-man squad for the Tour de France. And Real Madrid star Karim Benzema is honoured by the Dubai Sports Council.
Welcome back to Emirates News. Our top story tonight. The Vice President has reshuffled the boards of Dubai Racing Club and Dubai Equestrian Club. And now it's time for the sport with Graham Clues.
OK, cycling first, and Team Emirates UAE have named their 8-man squad to compete in the Tour de France. Young Slovenian rider Tadej Podgar and the experienced Fabio Aru headline the squad that will tackle the ultimate event in road cycle racing. Originally, the Tour de France was to take place in its normal slot in June, but was postponed due to the global pandemic. Now, it will kick off from Nice on August the 29th before covering a distance of 3,470 kilometres over 21 stages until its finish in the traditional location of the Champs-Élysées in Paris on September the 20th. Real Madrid footballer Karim Benzema says it was a terrific honour to have been recognised by the Dubai Sports Council for his efforts during lockdown in the UAE. Matar Mohamed Al Taya, deputy chairman of the Dubai Sports Council, met with the French striker in Dubai yesterday and presented him with a First Line of Defence medal for his contribution to the Be Fit, Be Safe campaign. His social media videos, directed specifically at the people of the UAE, encourage the community to try and stay fit whilst at home and to follow the government's directives for the safety of everyone. A collection of die-hard Al Wasl fans have made sure their presence will be felt in their club stadium when professional football returns to the UAE next weekend. Life-size cardboard cutouts of some fans have been installed in their favourite seats in the Zabil Stadium in Dubai. They will remain in place for as long as clubs are still directed to play their matches behind closed doors. Other UAE clubs are initiating similar arrangements, and if the fans can't create the cutout by themselves, clubs are offering to help with the service for a small fee. And golf. And the Race to Dubai is back in England this week at the iconic Belfry course for the UK Championship. Now, the Belfry has hosted many high-profile events since it was built and opened in 1977, including 4 Ryder Cups. This week, it marks the end of the hastily arranged UK swing a mini-series of events that helped European Tour golf return following a break due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In the field this week are two former major champions who've also had great success in the UAE. Multiple Abu Dhabi Championship winner Martin Kaymer and the winner of the 2016 Dubai Desert Classic and the 2018 DP World Tour Championship Dubai, Danny Willett.
Feeling pretty good. It's nice being back home now with the family and stuff. Getting back settled in. We've been in America since the 20th of January, since kind of everything kicked off, and after the players we stayed in America because we thought it'd be easy with the kids and stuff. So yeah, back at home and back on the European Tour, and a lovely venue to be back and to play and to see some familiar faces.
All right, that's it. That's your sport for tonight. Have a great weekend. Now it's back to Katie.
Thanks, Graham. And finally tonight, shoppers heading to the malls this weekend will be able to enjoy big discounts as the 23rd annual Dubai Summer Surprises Shopping Festival comes to a close. Up to 7 weeks of deals, competitions and entertainment. Retailers are set to offer discounts of 25 to 90% until Saturday night across lifestyle, beauty and home furnishings at more than 1,500 stores across the city. City Centre Dira has a series of games like paintball, target shooting and a chess tournament, while Ibn Battuta will welcome the region's best graffiti artists to create a huge mural at the Egypt Court. Prizes like several new cars, electronics and shopping mall gift cards will also be on offer at participating malls. City Walk's Dubai Canvas will also come to a close with the final series of live art events taking place at the courtyard until Monday. That brings us to the end of tonight's bulletin. You can follow us on Twitter. We are at Dubai1TV. And to comment on our series, use the hashtag Emirates News. Have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe and we'll see you again on Sunday.